The next thing I want to look at is how to control the way your user environment looks inside Animate. So we're going to look at our different workplace switchers or user environments. Right now we're set to Essentials. If I hit this down arrow, I can change this to Animator, which opens up a totally different set of panels and changes location of different panels and makes it easier for me to work on specific animations if that's what I want to do. Here's Classic, maybe. Here it comes slowly. It's thinking about it. All right, there's the classic user environment. Here's the debug and so on. So you get the idea. By clicking on these different workplace switcher options, it's going to give me a totally different look as to what windows are open for me to work with. I want to set it back though to Essentials. And we're going to look at a few more things. So that's just switching your environment. The default workspace is Essentials, by the way. So if you modify Essentials, we showed that in a previous video, you can just reset it to put everything back the way it was before you got started. Let's say that you're working in here, you want to collapse some of these by hitting this double-sided arrow, you can. If you have a window that you don't want to use, you can click on the drop-down menu for that window and you can close just that window. Notice it closed that window, or if you want, you can click on open this up and you can close the entire group if you want. So instead of just closing swatches, I'm going to close the entire group and it will close that whole group of windows. Now I want to put Essentials back the way it was, so I'll go back to Essentials and I'm going to reset it and it will let me go back to where I was before I started opening and closing windows. So make sure you understand how to do that by clicking on this submenu icon here. You can do different functions, closing a specific layer, a specific window or panel, or closing the entire group if that's what you want to do. Now the next thing I want to show you is you have the ability to come up and open additional windows. We looked at that previously. I'm going to open up this brush library window. Okay, so I'm going to move this right here. I'm going to come over here and open up the color window. Okay, so you can see there it is. Bring this over here a moment. I'm going to come over here and open up the layer depth window and I'll just combine this. I'm moving it up and docking it with this guy. So when you're opening and closing panels, you can change how they're laid out and how they're organized. I'm going to put the brush panel over here, for example. So now it's part of this group of panels. I don't want to use this one anymore. I'm just going to close it by hitting this X. So that closes that one completely up. So now I've created a sort of custom panel and a custom layout for how I want things to be. Once I've done that, I can save that out. So I'll go back to the drop-down window switcher, workspace switcher, and I'm going to select new workspace, and I'm going to tell it my space 1 and click OK. So now, in addition to all of the default workspaces, I have one called My Space. Now I can keep that or I can get rid of it, and that's what I want to show you how to do. I'm going to go back to my Essentials workspace for the moment, but I want to delete that new workspace I just created. So I'll come right here, hit delete workspace. It's going to ask me, hey, which one you want to delete? There it is. I'm going to select it and OK and delete, and away it goes. Now we no longer have this particular workspace to work with. But at any point in time, you can move things around, come back, and create a new workspace. And if you don't want it anymore, just delete it. So these are your basic things that you need to understand about your workspace and how to change that out. Remember, you've got your drop-down menus up here as well. So if you need to access anything along the top, you can access these as well. You've got the window to open and close things. If you don't have a panel or you can't find a panel, you just don't see it, come look under window and you can open it up that way.